Right. Okay. So, what is performance? Can anyone tell me the meaning of performance? At least going through the given slide. In the practical sense, right? We identify performance as the output, right? So we recruit employees for the organization, right? And we expect some outputs from our employees. Factory workers, they should make maximum units in a day, right? Then the marketing employees should make maximum amount of sales, right? And then research and development employees, they should come up with more and more innovations, new ideas. So that's what performance means in practical sense, right? Output. If you remember your first year lessons, right? Management. So what is efficiency? Efficiency means the input-output relationship, isn't it? If you can gain maximum number of output from minimum amount of input, that's what efficiency means. So fuel efficient car means ability to run maximum number of kilometers from minimum amount of petrol. So that's input-output relationship. What's effectiveness? Effectiveness means from the output, you should be able to achieve your organizational goals. Right? Just memorizing your first year lessons, right? So let's have a very simple example. So say you have particular amount of money, right? 1 million. You won a lottery, right? 1 million lottery. So you are thinking about starting a business, right? Say by mistake or purposefully you started manufacturing black and white televisions, right? For Sri Lankan customers. So by making, in making black and white televisions, you may be efficient. That means maximum number of TV sets from minimum amount of resources. That's what efficiency means. By making black and white televisions efficiently, that's not enough for us to achieve our organizational goals. Why? Once you release black and white televisions to market, nobody will buy, isn't it? Why? The technology is different, more advanced than black and white televisions. Therefore, effectiveness means achievement of our goals from the output. Right? Achievement of our goals from the output. So, for an employee, right? From a traditional way, employee performance means getting maximum output. But HR professionals define performance in a different way. Now let's have a simple example. There's an employee, right? He's very efficient, right? As well as he's very effective. He contributes to goal achievement in the organization. But his behavior is inappropriate. Right? He violates some ethical rules. He violates some disciplinary procedures of the company. Do you identify that employee as a employee with high performance? No. Why? Because according to HR professionals, right, performance does not mean only the output, right? We have to look at even the employee behavior, how employees behave, right? So therefore, as you can see in the first bullet point, performance is often defined simply in output terms, the achievement of quantified objectives. But performance is a matter not only of what people achieve, but how they achieve it. How means their behavior. Therefore, in measuring employee performance, we have to address two questions: how people perform, right? Right? Yeah. And what they perform. How means their behavior. Right? So therefore, as you can see in the third bullet point, performance means both behaviors and results. Right? Therefore, if you are a human resource manager, when you assess your employee performance, you have to look at your employees' behaviors and results both. That's what performance means for a manager or HR manager specifically. Right? That you have to keep in mind. Right? So performance means both behaviors and results. Okay, last bullet point. This definition of performance leads to the conclusion that when managing performance, both behaviors and results need to be considered. Right? Therefore, when you measure performance of your employees as a HR professional, you have to look at the employee performance in terms of behavior and results, both. Right? I think now you got a good idea about performance. Right? Why performance is important? Actually now, traditional way, if you look at the output only, right, performance is not that much important. But because for the performance, there's a broader idea, right, output and performance both, therefore performance is important for an organization. Why performance is important? So here I have given a small explanation. If I go through, performance is all about the core values of the organization. For a moment, let's forget about the significance of performance. If you remember your first year lessons, right? Organizations have various types of plans. What's the top level plan of the company? Very simple question. Yeah. Can anyone unmute and tell me the highest level plan of the company? I'll give you a gift. Yeah.
Achieve its goal in an effective manner.
What's the highest level plan?
Sir, excuse me, sir.
Yeah, I can see. I can hear you.
Yeah, yeah. To achieve the objective of the organization.
To achieve the objectives. So objectives. I'm getting lots of answers. Strategic plans, vision, strategies. What's the correct one? Vision, isn't it? Vision is the top level plan, right? It explains you where the firm goes. It gives a direction to the organizational members, not just direction, motivational direction, right? As an example, Apple Computer Company vision statement is to make machines that enhance mind of mankind. So if you are an Apple company employee, you feel proud about your company. Why? Because you are contributing to the world by making machines that enhance mind of mankind. So therefore, vision is a motivational guidance given to employees. That's limited to the words, but words are very powerful because it provides motivational guidance, right? So therefore, the significance of performance is that performance is all about the core values of the organization. Because together with vision, mission, organizations provide core value statements to their employees. Can anyone of you give an example for a core value? Core value? Quickly. Okay, there's a core value. No answers. Superior customer service. That's right. That's good. Satisfied consumers. Good. Yeah. Okay, thanks for that. So core values. Now, say for example, HP company. So HP company is a company that makes computer accessories like the printers, right? Core value, deep respect for people, not only customers. So they deeply respect for people, right? Therefore, once you at least, when you make a phone call to HP company, you can experience that, how friendly they are, how much care, how much caring, right? So therefore, the core values should be reflected in employee behavior. So therefore, in performance management, right, or in other words, performance management is very important because in measuring performance, we see whether employees demonstrate core values in the organization. The employees contribute to the vision, mission. Those are also performance criteria when we measure performance. Right? That's the meaning here. Performance is all about the core values of the organization. This is an aspect of behavior, but it focuses on what people do to realize core values such as concern for quality. Therefore, when we measure performance of our employees, we have to see how much our employees are concerned about quality, how much our employees are concerned about people. Right? Now, to the negative side, now think about a Sri Lankan government hospital. Right? So are they concerned about people? I'm not referring to particular employee group, but in general, there is no good attitude about the Sri Lankan government hospitals, isn't it? But the treatments are superb. Even the private sector hospital, when the patient is getting serious, they rush their patients to the government hospital. There are lots of facilities in government hospitals because they are attached to the medical faculties in Sri Lanka, teaching hospitals, qualified doctors, professors, right? Treatments are excellent, but how about the concern for people? So therefore, in evaluating performance, we have to look not only at their output, we have to look at the behavior in the sense concern for quality, concern for people, concern for equal opportunity and operating ethically, ethical practices. Now, very good example is now these days there's a huge debate about the palm oil imported to Sri Lanka, right? It's an ethical issue, right? And even for employees, we have to see how much our employees are ethical in their carrying out their jobs. So therefore, performance is very important, significant, because it concerns about the core values of the business. Okay. Right. So when you go through, you can find hundreds of definitions for performance management. Right. So according to Armstrong's textbook, so if you download Armstrong's textbook, you can see, you can read, right? So according to Armstrong, performance management is a systematic and continuous process. So you try to understand each and every word given in the definition. Performance management is a systematic. Systematic means there is a particular well-accepted order. We have to follow steps, right? So therefore, it's a systematic and continuous process. So performance evaluation, performance management is a continuous process. That means continuously we have to assess performance of our employees. Not at the end of the year only. Not at the end of 5 years, right? Now with the help of HRIS, Human Resource Information Systems, computerized information systems, right? The continuous performance management has become very easy task. There are dashboards, right? Continuous monitoring systems, right? With HRIS. Okay, so therefore, performance management is a systematic, continuous process for improving organizational performance. This is very important. This is not an effort to increase just employee performance. We need to enhance employee performance, but end of the day, we have to focus on enhancing organizational performance. So how we measure performance, organizational performance? You think about the organizational goals, objective areas. If it's a business organization, profit or profitability, right? In terms of customer satisfaction, providing affordable products. In terms of employees, employee welfare, right? In terms of the government compliance with rules and regulations. In terms of society, right? Not polluting the environment, protecting the environment. In terms of sustainability, preserving natural resources, for future generations, right? So this is about the performance. So there are various aspects of performance, not only profit. CSR, supporting different the groups in the society. As for example, now today, especially the private sector firms, you can see there's a particular quota given for differently able people. For example, now MAS Holdings, Brandix, those well-established companies, they have a particular quota for differently able employees. Right? They recruit, they develop such people. Why? Because they are concerned about CSR. Right? So this is the definition of performance management. Then keep in mind developing the performance of individuals and organizational performance by developing the performance of individuals and teams. So to enhance the organizational performance, we have to develop performance of individuals and teams. Right. Okay, there are lots of definitions, but I am not reading each and every one. You can go through, right? But now the second definition, maybe we can read because it's also taken from the recommended textbook. Performance management is a continuous process of identifying, measuring, and developing the performance of individuals. Now, this definition, steps also given, right? Identify the performance, that means identify performance criteria, and then measure performance, and then develop in the performance. If the performance is not satisfactory, right, managers do not terminate employment and ask employees to go home, right? Then we have to train and develop our employees, right? So therefore, performance management is a continuous process of identifying, measuring, and developing the performance of individuals and teams, and aligning performance with the strategic goals of the organization. Aligning goals, performance with the strategic goals of the organization. So this is about strategic alignment. I don't know whether you have learned about strategic alignment, but idea is very simple. Whatever the decision we make in the organization, we have to make just for supporting organizational strategy, just for supporting achievement of organization's goals and objectives. That is the meaning of strategic alignment. By relating that to performance management, right, we have to align performance with organizational strategic goals. Let's have a very simple example if you don't understand. Say, when you go through organization's strategy statements, right? One strategy of the organization, say, is being the technology leader in the industry, like Microsoft. Microsoft has a strategy like being the technology leader in the computer industry, right? And how do you support technology leader of Microsoft company in evaluating performance, in managing performance of your employees, if you are HR manager of the Microsoft? A very simple question. Assume you are a HR manager of the Microsoft company. Now, your duty is to manage your employee performance. Then Microsoft company, one of the strategies is to be the technology leader in the industry. In your performance management, how would you support this strategy? Can anyone unmute and tell me? No, any answers? Actually, now from the other lecturers, what I heard was now this time we got a very good batch for the HRM specialization, right? Forward students. Yeah. No, any answers? Did you understand my question? Assume you are
So
the,
can you please repeat the question?
yes, assume you are the HR manager of Microsoft company, right? And now you are going to manage the employee performance, right? Then the Microsoft company, one strategy is to be the technology leader in the industry. So how do you link your performance management to support technology leader strategy? That's the question. Simply, how would you support Microsoft company to achieve the technology leader strategy if you are the performance, if you are the in charge of performance management?
Sir,
Yeah.
first of all, I will set a goal. Then I will plan it and monitor it and develop what are things I can that I can develop, and I will measure the performance. Then I will try to motivate them how to how I can develop their performance.
Okay. What kind of goal is it?
That's
What kind of performance goal? What kind of performance goal? Okay. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't have any ideas.
Okay. Right. Right. Okay. Anyway, thanks for your effort. Right. But you are nearly there. Right. Close to the answer. Thank you very much. So when you prepare performance criteria, right? Performance criteria means now to measure the performance of the Microsoft employees, there should be some criteria, right? Measurements. When you identify performance criteria, you can include one criteria for innovativeness of Microsoft employees, right? And then particular mark is assigned for the innovativeness that's considered in the performance evaluation of performance management of Microsoft employees, right? And that's a good motivation for Microsoft employees to be innovative. Therefore, simply, if you can consider innovativeness of Microsoft employees in performance evaluations, performance management, then that will be a good motivation for Microsoft employees to be innovative. And then they will come up with new ideas, innovative ideas. Because now, performance management system does not operate in isolation. there are some other human resource management activities as well. Now, say for example, based on the good performance, we have to give some salary increments, some rewards for our employees. Therefore, in practice, human resource management activities are linked together. Okay, right. So therefore, the answer for my question is that in the performance management, we have to include innovativeness as a criteria to manage the performance of our employees. That's how we can link performance management with the technology leadership strategy of the company. So likewise, we have to link performance management with organization's business strategy. That's the meaning of alignment. Right? I think now you got the idea. So according to the second definition, performance management is a continuous process of identifying, measuring, and developing the performance of individuals and teams and aligning performance with strategic goals of the organization. Therefore, all the performance criteria should address organization's overall goals. Then we can see how much our employees contributed to achievement of goals. Okay, right. Thanks for your answers. Right. So there are lots of definitions given here, right? Many definitions. Okay. Right. So let's move on to the next subtopic, characteristics of performance management. Simply that means, right, in a performance management system, what are the features you can see? Right? In practical sense, you can see there are the evaluators, there are performance criteria, right? There are parties involved in performance management, the employees and the evaluators, right? Okay, now here, under characteristics or features of performance management, first one, performance management is a planned process. So that's a good aspect of performance management. It's a planned process. Right? Before implementing performance management, we have to plan for that. With the 5 primary elements. Right? So in a performance management plan, there should be 5 elements. What are the elements? Agreement, measurement, feedback, positive reinforcement, and dialogue. Don't get confused, right? Very simple information here. So these the elements explain the process of performance management. Right? 5 primary elements. 1, agreement. Agreement means, right, employee and, so if I use the term for employee, appraisee, and the person who appraises performance is called appraiser, right? Basically, a person from the human resource department, maybe HR manager or HR executive, right? So performance evaluator and employee, in other words. So agreement means for the performance criteria, right, both parties should have a prior agreement. Why we need to have an agreement? Otherwise, performance criteria may be unfair for employees. Now, say for example, in a factory, average factory worker can make maximum 100 units in a day. If you set the performance standard for factory worker 200 units per day, is it reasonable? No. Then you have to be a giant, right? You have to be a hero to make 200 units. Why? Because average person can make maximum 100 units in the factory, right? So therefore, before commencing performance management process, we have to, as HR people, we have to come to an agreement with our employees about the performance standards, about the performance criteria, right? That's what agreement means. Agree about performance criteria, agree about performance standards, agree about expectations from employee, right? Without that agreement, we should not go for performance management. Otherwise, that will lead to some conflicts between the managers and employees, right? Therefore, the performance management should be a friendly process between employer and employee, between manager and employee. For that, we need to have a agreement, prior agreement. And then second, measurement. After getting agreement from our employees, then we can measure the performance. For that, we can use various measures. As I told you, for Microsoft employees, innovativeness, how much employees are innovative, right? Now, say for example, sales employees, right? The quality of service and customer relations, right? Emotional intelligence of sales people. So if you are, if the marketing or sales employees are shouting at customers, that's bad performance, isn't it? Therefore, how much the marketing employees are friendly with customers, that's also performance criteria, right? So after agreement, we have to identify measurements, right? And then we have to measure performance. And once the performance is measured, the manager should not keep it confidential with respect to that particular employee. What the manager has to do is arrange an interview with the employee. At a particular time, please, we'll have a performance feedback interview and we'll discuss about your performance. And then at the interview, or maybe in writing, performance feedback should be given to employee. Then based on performance feedback, employee can have developed his performance if the performance is not up to the standard, right? So therefore, performance feedback should be there. And positive reinforcement. Positive reinforcement means now the total effort of performance management is not punishing our employees. Total effort is to enhance employee performance and finally enhance organizational performance, right? So therefore, if the employees are not up to the level, the standard, then we have to give some positive effects, positive outcomes to our employees. Maybe sending employees for further training if the performance is not appropriate, right? Sometimes the performance is poor, not because of employee lack of skills, maybe because of inadequate rewards, salaries given by the organization. Then at the interview, performance feedback interview, the employees will reveal some information. One reason for my poor performance is inadequate benefits. Then, so likewise, we have to give a positive reinforcement. We have to encourage our employees to demonstrate acceptable performance rather than discouraging our employees, right? Motivating employees. Positive reinforcement and dialogue. Therefore, we have to have a continuous dialogue with our employees regarding performance. Okay, so this is one area or one characteristic of performance management. Performance management is a planned process with certain steps. In other words, now, good features of performance management. You can change this given title, characteristics of a good performance management system, isn't it? Plan process. And second one, concerned with inputs and values. At the very beginning, I explained you, performance doesn't mean only the inputs or outputs. Performance means both outputs and the values, behaviors. Therefore, we have to look into employee behaviors as well. Right? And third one, performance management is not just a top-down process. What do you mean top-down process? That means the managers identify performance standards, performance criteria, and get the employees to demonstrate performance, evaluate performance, not like that. Always, in designing an effective performance management system, we have to get employee feedback, employee suggestions, and we have to empower our employees. Then they will positively contribute to organizations, the development of the organization's performance management. Right? So therefore, performance management is not just a top-down approach. Right? Everyone should involve, the managers and employees, both parties should involve in designing the performance management system, evaluating the performance of employees. I don't know whether you have heard about 360-degree performance. What do you mean by 360-degree performance? Performance is evaluated by immediate superior, superior, peer employees. Now, say for example, now in our faculty, our lectures are evaluated by our lecturers, peers. That is called peer evaluation. Some lecturers come to my lecture and listen to my lecture and evaluate my performance and give some feedback. So they are same level people. Therefore, we can use same level people, peers, right, for performance appraisal. Right, that's the meaning of 360-degree performance appraisal. And finally, a whole group is appraised performance of a particular employee by a team, performance appraisal team. So that's the meaning of performance management is not just a top-down process. Everyone involved in performance management, the employees and managers, not just getting directions from managers only. So these are good features of a good performance management system. Performance management is a continuous and flexible process. Now you can understand it's a continuous process, right? So continuously we appraise performance of our employees, not annually or biannually. And also flexible process. Flexibility means now according to the situations, we have to change the performance management system. Right? Now, say for example, senior management has changed the strategic plan of the business. New strategies added to the corporate plan. Then to align the performance criteria with new strategies, we have to revise our performance management criteria. So likewise, we have to accommodate changes whenever necessary. That is called flexibility. Therefore, there should be a possibility of change in the performance management system according to change, internal and external changes. Right? Now, say for example, now today, because of the pandemic situation, the public sector and private sector organizations given flexibility for their employees to work from home. Right? When employees work from home, right, the performance evaluation should be different from how we appraise performance when employees were physically in workplace. Therefore, we have to do some changes to performance criteria. Right? Okay, so performance management is a continuous and flexible process. That's another good feature. And performance management focuses on future performance, planning and improvement. This is very important, right? So traditional performance appraisals, we focus on appraising performance based on the past performance, right? Based on the past performance of employees. But current performance management system focus on past performance as well as future performance. We can make predictions about employee performance in future, right? Therefore, we consider both past and future performance of in planning and improvement. Right? Okay. I don't know whether you are getting too much information. So, right. Any questions so far? Any questions? Right. Okay, there's a message. Let's see. Okay, clear. Right. So main concerns of performance management. So some of the things we have to emphasize in performance management. That's what main concerns. Actually, now you can amalgamate or link this part also with the previous, the characteristics of performance management, right? So aligning individual objectives to organizational objectives. So that's main concern. Because as employees, they have personal objectives. Why people join with organizations? For earning a salary, right? For getting reputation, recognition, status, right? Socialize with people. You remember motivation theories, XY theory, right? Then Herzberg's two-factor theory, Maslow's need hierarchy. Then you can get a good idea about why people join with organizations, right? People have some personal objectives. What happens if people are trying to achieve only their personal objectives? What happens to organizational objectives? But bitter truth is that, isn't it? We can't expect all the people working honestly for achievement of organizational objectives. That's why there are lots of issues in workplaces, isn't it? Even in Sri Lanka. Corruptions, dishonesty, right? From parliament to public sector corporations, right, to private sector institutions, everywhere. Lots of issues. Why? People are trying to achieve their personal objectives. But as managers, we have to be very tricky, isn't it? We should know, we should understand people are trying to achieve, always trying to achieve their personal objectives. Then how can link individual objectives with organizational objectives? For that, we have to implement some strategies, right? When we discuss the topics in future, you can learn. There's a theory called the psychological contract. I don't know whether you heard about psychological contract. When employees join with the organization, they sign a legal contract with the organization that is called legal contract or appointment letter, employment letter, employment contract. But it doesn't guarantee that employees work according to the organizational expectations. Therefore, as managers, we should build psychological contract with our employees. Mentally, psychologically, we should build a contract between organization and employees. How we can do it? We can support our employees to develop, right? We can pay reasonable salaries. We can develop a organizational culture where employees feel comfortable, feel happy working in the organization, right? We can develop social relationships. And then psychologically, they make a contract with the company, right? This is a good place for me to stay. Therefore, I should support this organization. If employees feel like that, that's because of their psychological contract. Whatever the religion we follow, people think if I am getting something from my organization, salary and other benefits, why shouldn't I serve this organization? They develop guilty feeling, isn't it? No matter what religion you follow, you develop a guilty feeling. You are earning, say, 500,000 salary as HR manager or 1 million salary as HR manager, right? Then you feel guilty about serving your organization. Therefore, as managers, you have to develop this guilty feeling, developing the psychological contract, right? Okay, that's one side. Anyway, now aligning individual objectives to the organizational objectives. So, because I mentioned about the salaries of HR managers, right? I don't mention the names or names, but there are some HR managers, they earn approximately 1 million per month, right? Especially Sri Lankan banks, right? And some garments, well-established garments, right? Multinational companies operating in Sri Lanka. right? Large scale companies for senior HR manager, HR director, right? Around 1 million salary. That's just for motivation, okay? Right. And also, as I told you, with your once you become a graduate, right? If you can work as a HR executive, right? 2 years, then you can apply for migration to Australia, Canada, New Zealand, right? So HR advisor, HR manager, general manager, HR consultant are in the skilled occupation list in Australia. Just do a Google search, right? The skilled occupation list, SOL in Australia. You find HR jobs, right? Sri Lankan degree plus 2 years experience, you can apply. You don't want to pay for your lawyers, right? The whole process is online. You just log into the system, apply online, right? Okay, so some motivations. Okay, then performance management is concerned with aligning individual objectives to organizational objectives. Therefore, HR professionals should find the ways of aligning individual objectives to organizational objectives. Right? If I relate this alignment with my Microsoft example, now say Microsoft, one of the strategies is to be in the most innovative firm in the computer industry. For that, when we develop performance management system, we can include innovativeness of people as a performance criteria. And then once the performance is evaluated, assessed, then we can offer some financial and non-financial benefits for our employees. Right? Likewise, we have to align individual objectives to organizational objectives. Right? So this is one concern of performance management. And then second one, enabling expectations to be defined and agreed in terms of role responsibilities and accountabilities. What is that? Enabling expectations to be defined and agreed in terms of role responsibilities. That means now, when we identify performance criteria, we have to gather information to develop performance criteria from job analysis information. I am pretty sure you know what job analysis information means. Job description, basically. Job description explains duties, responsibilities, tasks the employee should perform, right? Behaviors, expected behaviors, right? So, enabling expectations to be defined and agreed in terms of the role responsibilities means now by getting information from job descriptions, right? Then we can identify performance criteria. So then simply we can ask the employees, these are our expectations from you. These are the duties, these are the responsibilities, these are the skills. Then you will be identified as a high-performing employee. Then employee develop expectation. Employee knows very well. So these are the expectations of the company with respect to my performance. Right? So therefore, the second main concern of performance management is that enabling expectations to be defined and agreed in terms of responsibilities and accountabilities. Simply that means when we develop performance criteria, we have to get information from job descriptions. Then employee know very well those are the expectations from that employee. We have to enable that. We have to communicate that to our employees. And the third one, providing opportunities for individuals to identify their own goals and develop their skills and competencies. As I told you at the beginning, the performance management is not an effort to punish our employees. Therefore, the performance management should result in providing opportunities for individuals to identify their own goals, align with the organizational goals. Right? Now, say for example, the Microsoft example I have taken to be the most innovative computer firm of Microsoft, then innovativeness can be identified as a performance criteria. Then by recognizing innovativeness, employees come up with innovative ideas. Then employee get the opportunity to develop innovative skills, and then even they can find jobs in other organizations. So therefore, that's a good opportunity for employees to develop themselves, develop their innovative ideas. Okay. Right. So, you should not get confused about these concerns. So simply, the main concerns of performance management simply means, so we have to focus more on these areas in performance management. Right? If I summarize, we have to align individual objectives to organizational objectives, and then we have to enable expectations of employees to performance criteria, and we have to provide opportunities for individuals to identify their own goals and develop. Therefore, by measuring performance, right, employees develop themselves, because that's a good motivation for employees to develop themselves, their skills, competencies. Right? Okay. Right. Now, I think based on the discussion we had so far, you can give a very short answer for this. Difference between performance management and performance appraisal. What's the difference? Definitely there's a difference. Can anyone tell me the difference? Performance management and appraisal, difference.
Performance management is a continuous process.
Okay. Performance management is continuous process. Okay, good.
Performance appraisal is annually or twice per year.
Okay. So performance management is a continuous process, and appraisal is not a continuous process. It conducts annually, semi-annually, like that. Okay. Thanks for the answer. Any other answers? Performance appraisal is just one part of the performance management. Okay, that's also acceptable answer, but partial answer, right? Thanks for that. Okay, because we have a limited time, we'll go to the answer. So performance appraisal, evaluating an employee's current and or past performance related to his or her performance standards. So this is the traditional way of appraising employee performance, right? We evaluate current or past performance against a given standard. As I told you now, say for example, factory employees, the average factory employee can make 100 units. Then for all so as 100 units as the standard, we can compare all the employees, factory employees output with the standard output. So that's the performance appraisal. But performance management, employers use to make sure employees are working towards organizational goals. In other words, if you can remember the definition of performance management, not only the reaching the performance standards, but also we are looking at behavior, whether employees demonstrate values, behaviors for achieving organizational goals. Right? So therefore, performance management, right, just make sure whether employees work towards achievement of organizational goals. Therefore, we align individual performance. In other words, performance management is about aligning individual performance with organizational goals. Right? According to Microsoft example, innovativeness is a strategy, then we see whether employees are innovative. Likewise, we have to align individual performance with organizational goals. That's the performance management. Okay. Sorry. Right. Now here, there's a comparison given for appraisal and performance management. So performance appraisal, top-down assessment, as I explained before, right? It's so performance management shouldn't be a top-down assessment. More likely to involve a dialogue. Even employees involved in identifying performance criteria. Even employees involved in assessing performance. That is called self-performance assessment. I assess myself as an employee. But performance appraisal is top-down approach. There are appraisers, they appraise performance of employees. But management, performance management, even the employees involved in performance appraisal. Typically, once or twice per year. The performance appraisal is not a continuous process. As one of you told, it's conducted at particular time intervals. But performance management is an ongoing or continuous review. And then performance appraisal uses ratings or rankings. So there are very clear criteria. And finally, marks are allocated and total marks are taken to identify the employee performance, like an exam, right? But performance management less likely to involve ratings. So it's a kind of dialogue, right? Qualitative assessments are there, right? Sometimes employees come to managers and explain their performance issues and the training and development needs, right? And it's a kind of verbal dialogue, right? So therefore, performance appraisals more towards mathematical calculations, right? And rating employees. At the end of the performance appraisal, we can identify in terms of performance appraisal, best employee, second best employee, third employee, fourth employee. Why? There's a marking scheme as well. But performance management is qualitative, right? And the next one, not linked to business needs. Performance appraisal, but performance management linked to business needs, right? And then often linked to compensation. Performance appraisal is very traditional, often linked to compensation, and even employees are expecting after performance appraisal, I should get a, if my performance is acceptable, excellent, then I should get a, definitely I should get a increment. So likewise, performance appraisal is linked to compensation, but not usually linked to compensation, performance management, right? But it doesn't mean that performance management is not linked to compensation, but there's no guarantee, right? There are various kinds of incentives, motivations given for employees based on the performance, but not usually linked to compensation. Performance appraisal usually housed in HR department. That means basically HR people in appraising performance. They develop criteria and allocate marks and rate the employees. But performance management conducted by managers and supervisors, not necessarily by the HR department. Because I can appraise, I can manage performance of my department lecturers when it comes to a academic department. I don't need university administration or university HR people, right? Okay, so performance appraisal is operational. That means highly technical, operational, but performance management is strategic. Always performance management link employee performance with organizational goals, objectives, strategic plans, like my Microsoft example. Okay, so in addition to this, I have given some other extra information for your extra reading, right? Right, I think from this point I have to finish because time is going to be over. So I finished my presentation with this, the overall aim of performance management. So maybe for the exam purpose, right, I will ask a very general question. Explain the overall aim of performance management with suitable examples. Okay, don't write it down. Okay, that's not an actual question. But what I want to highlight is that you should know the overall aim of performance management, right? So performance management aim to establish a high performance culture. As I told you, the performance management is not just punishing employees based on their poor performance, to enhance the employee performance and finally organizational performance. And we have to have a high performance culture. What do you mean high performance culture? High performance culture means all the employees are working towards enhancing organizational performance. All the employees are motivated to enhance performance, right? Therefore, overall aim of performance management is to establish a high performance culture in which individuals and teams take responsibility for the continuous improvement. So employees themselves take the responsibility for their enhancement of their performance. and then business process and for their own skills and contributions within a framework provided by effective leadership. Right? So simple answer for overall aim, then establish a high performance culture in which individuals and teams take responsibility for continuous improvement of business. Right? So there are some extra explanations about the overall aim. Its key purpose is to focus people on doing the right things by achieving goal clarity. Therefore, with respect to overall performance, right, all the employees should have the role clarity. That means they should understand what they are doing. They should have a clear understanding about what they are doing. Right? Specifically, performance management is about aligning individual objectives to organizational objectives. So, within the main aim, we have to align individual objectives with organizational objectives. Okay. In addition to main aim, there are some other subsidiary aims of performance management. Right? Subsidiary aims of performance management. Okay, anyway,